What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Rachel and I'm back with another video. I'm broken out, so ignore this, but we're gonna cover it up with some makeup, alright? Yes, I'm 31 and I break out still. First, we're gonna start out with a little bit of moisturizer because if you want your makeup to go on flawlessly, you really need to be wearing moisturizer. And I love Palmetto Harmony. I've been using them for a few months now. I love how moisturized my skin feels. I love how my makeup goes on so well around my eyes and everything. It's keeping me looking young. So I'm gonna apply this. I wanted to talk about yesterday was Mental Health Awareness Month, and I really wanted to discuss that while I get ready. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe for content not only on makeup but on being independent and other things that have to do with the wheelchair. If you're new to my page, you might not know that in 2007 I was injured in an accident that resulted in a spinal cord injury. So everything from my chest down, including my hands and triceps, are paralyzed. Okay, now for the morning moisturizer. I love this day moisturizer because it smells just like mangoes. It is so good, so good. But I was injured in 2007, and before that, I only struggled with depression once, and I had to be medicated when I was younger. But I got past it and was able to get off of medication within a few months. But after my injury, when I got home from the hospital, I sank in a deep, sorry, I'm checking out my dogs. I sank into a horrifically deep depression. I probably I was on medication, but when every moment of your life changes within a split second, it is really hard to bounce back from that, especially when you completely lose your independence and you have to rely on everyone to do everything for you, especially in the beginning. I'm a lot more independent now, but it took a lot to get here, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But the first 2 years is honestly the hardest when it comes to this injury. People are like, oh, because you can't walk. No, that's the easy part, is accepting that you're not gonna walk again. For me anyways, in my situation, the hardest part was the mental struggle, the depression, the anxiety. And I'm someone who never struggled with anxiety, almost forgot primer. I'm someone that never struggled with anxiety. I wasn't the most popular girl, but I was popular. I had a lot of friends. I was not shy at all. Like, I would walk up to a group of people at a party that I didn't know and I would make friends with them. Like, I just wasn't shy. I did plays. I was in drama and I did plays. I was not shy at all. And since my injury, especially when it comes to social interactions, I'm very shy. I'm very aware how different I look to most people, and being aware of how I look and people staring all the time, which if people just glance, which I know people are gonna look and go, oh, what happened to her? Obviously, I mean, I do that, it's normal, but I don't notice that. I notice when people stare for way too long and I'm like, just wheelchair, buddy, like, you're gonna get through this. I struggled with it so bad. I struggled with anxiety and depression for a long time because I've been injured now for 07, so that's 12 years, I think 12 years. And I didn't think I would ever get through it, and for 11 and a half years I didn't. I would describe it as treading water, like in an ocean. Like, you could only do it for so long. Like, I'd be okay for a little while, but then it's like my legs would get tired and I would give out and sink, and I'd be underwater for so long, and then I would get strength back and was able to get back to the surface. But like, even when I wasn't seriously depressed, my anxiety was even higher because I was wondering when the next wave of depression was going to come. It was super, super hard to deal with. And I would say in May or June, I don't know why, but I've been okay since then. I've never gone this long without sinking really bad. So I don't know. The only thing I'm doing different, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it, I'm just saying the only thing that I've changed since May is that I'm taking CBD oil on a daily basis, and it's the Palmetto Harmony. I'm not saying that's what helped, but I'm just saying that's the only thing I've changed since then. Let me blend this and then I'll be back. My dog is driving me crazy. He won't stop barking. But I'll link the CBD oil that I'm using down below. That's the only thing that's changed since May that I've been doing differently. So I take it for pain, and like if my anxiety's high, I'll take it for that because I know it helps with that. In my opinion, that's what it's helped with. But it's been a long road, and like I said, even when my depression was doing well, my anxiety was so high because I was so nervous that I would sink again. I knew I was gonna sink again because I always do. But this is the longest I've ever gone without getting seriously depressed again, and I'm really happy. I have good and bad days like a normal person does. I just haven't felt like completely defeated, like giving up all the time. And I mean, my depression was really bad in the beginning. I probably should have, in my opinion, I probably should have been hospitalized for it because it was that bad. Like, it was that bad. But I've just been doing really well lately. And it's a hard road. Like, if you know someone struggling, I'm gonna contour. If you know someone who's struggling with anxiety and depression, the best thing you could do is just be there for them instead of like running from them. And one thing I hated hearing all the time, and I saw it on a bunch of posts on my Instagram for other people, and maybe for other people it works, but like, people are like, happiness is a choice. And I'm like, really? I used to hate hearing that because I'd be like, well, if it was a choice, I would have chosen that a long time ago. Like, I wish depression was cured away that easily. So that's a huge pet peeve of mine. I hate hearing that, or hate when people are like, they make it seem as if you're not working to get out of your depression. But when you've tried everything, you tried seeing a psychologist, you've tried medicine, you've tried... Like, even when I was in college and I was doing everything a normal person would do, I was still depressed all the time. And I was so bad in the beginning, I didn't even realize how hard it was on my mom and my sister watching me be so sad all the time. And when I realized it, I started hiding my depression. Like, people would tell me all the time, you always have a smile on your face, you're so positive and stuff, but they didn't really know that I was struggling so hard. I was struggling so bad with depression and anxiety, but I didn't want that stigma of like people looking at me differently, so I would hide it. I didn't talk to anyone about it. I just started hiding it, trying to fake it till I make it type thing. And if I did bring it up to them, it's because I was so low that I had to talk to someone about it. But like I said, I rarely ever did that because I just didn't want them to have to deal with it anymore. I felt so bad when I realized what I was doing, and then I felt really bad. I'm adding blush. I felt really bad for forcing them to watch it, you know? Like, my mom used to cry all the time. She'd be like, and she was just like, it's so hard watching your daughter's soul die. And I remember thinking, wow, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not the only one that's feeling this. Like, my mom and my sister are having to deal with this all the time. I felt so selfish. I'm gonna blend everything and remove the powder. So it was really hard for me, especially when I started hiding it from everyone. I'm sure my family could see it sometimes, but I think we were all used to me being like that. But yeah, I definitely hid it. You know, I didn't want that stigma of people being like, well, she doesn't try. You know, it's a choice. She's not trying hard enough, because I felt like that's how everyone felt about it. And I was just like, man, I wish it was a choice. You know, I wish it was that easy. And like I said, maybe it is for some people. Like I said, I saw that a lot on Instagram, and I'm just thinking maybe my depression was just a little bit, I'm highlighting. Maybe my depression was just worse than other people, because for me, happiness wasn't just a choice I could choose, unfortunately. If you can hear that, I have a Lifetime movie going on in the background. Don't judge me. The old Lifetime movies are the only ones, like, Lifetime movies I could watch that are like chick flicks, because I'm just not a chick flick person. But for some reason, Lifetime movies, man. But yeah, like I said, my depression was really bad. I wouldn't say that, this part is hard to say. I wouldn't say that I was suicidal, but I would say that I thought about it on a daily basis. Like, and the only reason I didn't was because I didn't want to put my mom and my sister through that. But I really thought about it a lot. And I haven't thought about it in a long time since then. I'm doing good, so don't worry. But so if you know someone that's going through it, please don't tell them it's a choice. You're not trying, because I'll tell you what, most people wouldn't prefer to feel that way. I'm just highlighting the inner corner of my eye and half of my lower lid. My spinal cord injury is probably the hardest, well, obviously, it's the hardest thing I've ever been through. You know, my life changed in a split second, and I was so angry for so long. I was so angry. It was really hard, because there's steps to acceptance. And here I am, year 12. And I still struggle with accepting my disability. Like, I knew as soon as I was injured, like, laying there waiting for the ambulance, something just told me, you'll never walk again. Like, I knew most of my relationships, both friendships, significant other, would die from it, would, you know, go away. Like, I knew that. But even though they said I almost died and I was really lucky, I was not afraid to die. Not that I was afraid to die, I just knew I wasn't going to die. Like, I knew I wasn't. I don't know how I knew that, but I just wasn't worried about that part, but I knew I had broken my neck. And I'm sure a lot of people are gonna ask me, oh, can you share your story and stuff? And like I said, if I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will. But because I get a lot of people on Instagram asking me that, and I'll like link my Instagram and Facebook account below. But like I have to wait till I'm like sad already, because it just puts me instantly in a bad mood. You know, I made a lot of rash decisions that I shouldn't have made so quickly, you know, but I was only 19. And I just get stuck in thinking about it, so I don't really like telling that story. But if I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll go live and I'll share it once. That way you guys can ask me questions, and after that, if people want to know, I'll just tell them, hey, check out my story. Check out my YouTube story, because I don't want to keep reliving it. Has anyone else struggled with anxiety and depression? I'm sure there's a lot of people who struggle with it, especially in silence. They don't want that stigma, like I was saying. I understand that. And a lot of people don't understand, especially if they've never suffered with like debilitating depression. Like I was debilitated, like I wouldn't leave my house. This is embarrassing, but when I was first injured, the first 2 years, I wouldn't even get out of bed for weeks. I'm not even kidding. I would get out to shower, of course, but that was it. Like, I wouldn't get out of bed, because to me, I was like, what's the point? I can't do anything. Because I'm a C4. I somewhat function as a C5, no matter what people may think. And I couldn't do much for myself in the beginning. But if anyone's watching this and they're struggling with it, don't give up. Never give up. I know now that I'm glad that I've come this far. And the beginning of the injury is the hardest, but like once you get out of the first 2 years, like I felt like, yes, I would get depressed, but I felt like I could push through it easier. And now, look at me, I'm 12 years in. I'm pretty independent, and I've been doing so well with depression to the point where the anxiety part of worrying about sinking into another depression is pretty much gone, which that has never happened. Like usually when I'm not depressed, I'm so scared about falling into another depression that's hard to enjoy the fact that I'm not depressed. So that means, I know that means that I've come really far. So if you're struggling, don't give up. And it's not just a decision to come out of depression. You have to work, you know, see a psychologist, take the medicine, you know. Like I said, try the CBD oil, because it's worked for me, and I know it helps veterans who were in the war and they have PTSD. I've read that it's been helping them, so it has to help with anxiety. Not comparing my situation to their PTSD at all. Like, I can't even imagine what those brave men and women have gone through. I'm just saying for mine, it helped quite a bit, and that's the only thing I've changed since May. Because I moved to Texas in March, and I was still struggling, so I don't think that was the change. But keep getting out of the house, visit with family. Like, my nephews really put things in perspective, because I knew I didn't want to give up, because I kept thinking, like, I don't want to be just a story to them, like, oh, like, I didn't want my sister to have to tell that story. Like, I used to have a sister. Like, I did not want to put my mom and my sister through that, especially because they've gone through everything I've gone through with me, you know, to as much as another human being can. But yeah, I've struggled hardcore, and like I said, I've never really struggled with depression except for that one time when I was a teenager. But it only lasted a couple months and I was able to get off medicine. I'm still on my anti-anxiety and my antidepressant that I've been on since my injury. I will have to go like 6 to 8 months of feeling good before I'm willing to come off of that, because I do not want to risk sinking again. It's the same prescription I've been on since my injury. It's amitriptyline. And there were times where I've taken Zoloft to help. Like when I had that bed sore, I was like sick for a whole year. I was hospitalized every month for 12 months. And I was hospitalized for a week. And the last hospitalization, when I went septic, I was hospitalized for 2 weeks, and I spent 3 days in ICU because I had fluid on the brain. And like the risk were mental retardation or blindness, because the fluid can crush your brain and ruin your eyes. I didn't know that. Yeah, it was really scary, but I was so out of it because the pain was so bad that I was so heavily medicated that I didn't even realize 3 days had passed. Like, I was that sick. It was really scary. So if you know someone who's struggling, don't give up on them. I'm not saying you have to be at their house every day. Just text them and just be like, hey, how are you doing? Remind them that, you know, that you love them, that life is worth living, and once they get through this, things will get better, but they have to take the steps. You can't just wish it away. And if you can just wish it away, you're probably not struggling hardcore. I'm talking about people who are like not leaving their house and stuff like that. And it's hard when people are constantly reminding you. Like, for a long time I wouldn't leave my house because people staring at me. I'm like, I get it, I'm in a wheelchair. Like, I know. And like, you know, the only things that didn't bother me were like when little kids would come up to me and be like, what happened? What's wrong? You know, because I think education for people with disabilities is very important, to educate kids and not tell them, shh, don't ask that, you know. It's good for them to know because they won't stare. It won't be such a, you know, like, wow, you know, they'll just be like, oh, okay. And that happened to me before. The mom was like, I'm just adding more highlight to the inner corner of my eye. I just told her I was in a bad accident, but I was, you know, smart enough to wear my seatbelt. And I'm sure to this day she wears her seatbelt. But I would rather someone ask me a question straight up than like be rude. Like, I've had one time we were in Vegas and this lady walked up to my mom and tapped her on the shoulder. I'm gonna do a little bit of eyeliner. Tapped her on the shoulder and was like, we have special schools for your daughter. And I was like, oh, I'm in college. Like, she didn't even attempt to see. I would rather someone ask me and be wrong and someone have to be like, oh, she doesn't, you know, she can't communicate, you know, because I'm sure she thought that I had a disability that happened at birth or something, which there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. But even if someone has a disability from birth, I don't know. I mean, my little sister has cerebral palsy, you know, obviously she had a brain injury from birth. She was born way too soon, but she can't speak, but I would rather someone make the mistake of telling her hi and asking how she is than just assuming that she can't even speak. But that's just my opinion. Like, I would rather someone ask me. We have a walnut tree in the backyard, and the dogs, two of the dogs, my dog Max, he's smaller than the other two. He doesn't like them, but the other two dogs are always foraging outside for them. So there's like walnut shells all over the house, and I have to constantly clean them up. I do want to say a big thank you to everyone who subscribes and watches, who likes and comments on my YouTube channel. I also want to give a big thank you to my mom and my sister. They never gave up on me, and like when people told my mom that she should put me in a rest home, you know, for like the elderly and disabled, she wouldn't even hear of it. Like, my mom got up in the middle of the night every 3 hours to turn me and worked full time. She never complains. And I'm thankful for my sister Jessica, because she pushes me when others might be too nervous to tell me, no, you could do this. She's always the one that's like, no, you could do this. You got this. You're fine. You know, she's always like tough love, which I need sometimes. To my little sisters who I don't see often, but because they moved to Texas and we used to live in California, but now we live close to them. Even though we didn't communicate a lot and stuff, they were my strength also, because I wanted them to see their sister in a wheelchair and know that, and I wanted to finish college for them, because I wanted them to know, like, there's no reason for them to give up. Like, they could do anything. And now I have 2 of them are in college, the other 2 are in high school, and then the one with cerebral palsy, of obviously she's not in school. She just graduated from high school, because they have this extended program where kids with disabilities could stay in high school for a few more years than the average kid, you know, which is amazing. I love Texas. After this, we're gonna wear lipstick. I know, wow, Rachel's gonna put on lipstick. Yes, I am. Just for y'all. Oh, and if you're wondering why I broke out so bad, it's because I love my subscribers, and I did Halloween makeup, and that cheap makeup made me break out so bad. You're welcome. Yeah, it was bad. It sucks. I've been struggling with acne since I was 21, but it's a lot better. It used to be so bad. If you go onto my Instagram page and you scroll through, you'll see it. You'll see the photo. Like, people probably think I've only had a few pimples or whatever. No, I have cystic acne. I don't get cysts too much anymore, but once in a while I do. But if you look, you could see I had that kind of acne and regular acne, and I had it bad. It sucks, because the stuff that I was using, Neutrogena, worked, but they tested on animals, so I couldn't use it anymore. No, I'm not a vegetarian. I eat eggs. Big thanks to my Texas family also, because even though they were so far away, whenever we'd visit, it always felt like I was raised there. Like, it never felt awkward, and I know that they always have my back. They're always there for me. And my grandma Rini, who came down from Texas to help take care of me after I had my ribs removed from that one bed sore that I had that kept getting infected, she came down and helped me, helped my mom out so she could still work. It was really awesome. One of my friends, Ryan, from California, he was there. He was in the accident with me, and he's really the only friend that I pretty much kept that would show up and stuff after my accident. We're gonna make my lips look a little fuller by breaking that off. It sucks. Okay, we're not gonna make my lips look fuller because I can't operate a pencil sharpener. I believe this is a matte. Yeah, it's a matte, so I'm not gonna rub my lips. I'm just gonna. And last but not least, setting spray. If you made it this long into my video, you are awesome. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, comment down below. I always answer. If you don't know where the comment section is, you just got to scroll through all those videos, and at the very, very bottom, you'll see where you can comment. Okay. So that's my views on, that's what I've gone through with my personal depression and anxiety. It was a tough road, but I'm tougher, stronger. Pretty much nothing can break me. And that's my look. Thanks for sticking around. Make sure you subscribe.